Okay, so hey everyone, I'm Alex. I'm one of the co-presidents, also like an engineering officer. And today I'll be talking about personal security. So basically how to secure yourself online and like all of your online accounts, and a little bit of like keeping yourself secure physically as well. So I didn't click on the right window. All right, so to be secure, you need to disconnect your computer from the internet, shut it off, seal it in a lead safe, and bury that safe 20 feet underground. Okay, that's the end of the talk. But seriously, no device will ever be 100% secure, and no matter how hard we try, the best thing we can do is take every precaution to make it like more difficult to break into. So one of the first problems that people run up into is passwords. So weak passwords like QWERTY, admin, like the name of your dog, things that are like common or easy to crack or guess. Another thing is password reuse or patterns across different sites. So like if your password gets leaked from one website, it's super easy for someone to take that password dump, find your password that you used, and then like use it to get into all your other accounts. And then even with patterns, like the programs they use to like crack these passwords, they have like different flags that they can pass in that make it really easy to just like add these modifiers, like add like Netflix or YouTube or whatever to the password to see if that will work. So it doesn't really help you that much security wise. A good thing to do is check the website Have I Been Pwned to see if your info has been leaked. So basically what Have I Been Pwned has is it'll just collect data about a bunch of different like security breaches, password list dumps, stuff like that. And you put in your email and it'll tell you if your email and other login data has ever been seen in like a security breach. It's pretty useful. And then another big issue is just people not using multi-factor authentication. So this means that if for some reason like an attacker got your logins through like a password breach or whatever, all they need is like your username and password or your email and password to log into your account. They don't have to verify anything else. So steps to solving this, for real, not just burying your computer. Use a password manager. Please, please, please use a password manager. They make it super easy to be secure. It's like not that hard to set up, and it does a ton for like your security. So like it'll let you generate secure passwords, and they usually have a bunch of different settings for like if you want letters or symbols in there, like how many letters, or if you want like the pass phrases, you know, where it's just like a string of random words and stuff. They let you make unique passwords for every site. So like you can have like 64 character passwords for every site that are different. And again, that just makes it like way harder for an attacker who like gets one password from a password leak. It makes it harder for them to be able to just like take that and break into all your accounts because you use the same password or a pattern. And then a lot of them also provide 2 or multi-factor authentication like services. So they'll usually have like that like number code generator. I think it's called TOTP. But yeah, they just come with like a bunch of tools that make it super easy to be secure online. Ethan said the sticky note on my monitor can't be hacked. I know you're kidding, but genuinely, okay, not a sticky note on your monitor, but like a paper password book. Like people make fun of it. It's not good, but it's definitely not the worst thing ever, because like if somebody gets a hold of that, assuming you keep it like at home by your computer, you probably have bigger issues because like, you know, someone's at your computer physically. Like they can't hack like a paper book. So it's not the greatest thing, but it's actually not as bad as you might think.
Hey Alex, if I have a password that has the letter E in it and I replace it with a 3, is that secure?
Absolutely not. Like all of like the leap speak stuff, basically any like cool trick you can think of, like attackers already know that stuff and they can just like write that into their rule sets or their modifiers when they're like cracking all these passwords. So yeah, definitely that doesn't really help too much. So one of my favorite password managers is OnePassword. Personally, I pay for a subscription. I think it's like $30 a year, which to me is worth it. They also have a free tier. I don't remember what exactly the differences are, but you can look on their website. I really like them because they have apps for like literally every different platform, Mac, Windows, iOS. They just recently released a Linux one and Android. And they actually like on mobile, like on Android and iOS, they support like fingerprint unlocking for the app or whenever you want to type in a password. So that's pretty handy. And also on Mac where they have fingerprint readers, they support fingerprint unlocking. They have browser extensions for Chrome or any of its various flavors and Firefox, and then they sync across devices. So like if you add a new password on your desktop, it'll be on your phone like almost immediately. Let's say that you don't want to have all your passwords hosted by someone else, or you only use open source software, or you don't want to pay, which are all like completely valid concerns. Then I suggest Bitwarden, which actually I'm planning to switch to it after my subscription on OnePassword runs out, because Bitwarden is free, like it doesn't cost money, and then like it's also open source. Those both types are free, and you can host it locally on your own machine. So that means like your whole vault of passwords, it will not be in like plain text or anything, it would be like encrypted, but that will only be stored on your local machine, not on like in the cloud or like on someone else's computer. But if you don't want to do that, you can also store it with cloud services. So like Google Drive, you could put your vault in there so that it still like syncs between devices, which is pretty nice. And also it has a bunch of clients on like a bunch of different platforms, including the command line if you're into that. Now, another step you can take is please turn on two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication on every account you can, like literally every account. So what two-factor or 2FA and MFA do is it means that if you're trying to log into your account with your username and password, you're going to also need like a one-time code or a physical security key, or like a link, a one-time link you have to click, or basically something else that you have to confirm to let you in for that specific login. So that way, if your password gets leaked, you will still be able to deny attempts to log in, because like they'll try to log in with your username and password. You'll get like an email or a notification that says like, hey, there's a login happening in like Russia. And you're like, hey, I don't live in Russia. That's probably not me. So you can just deny it and then like go and actually change your passwords and like make sure everything's okay. Oh yeah, and just a comment that OnePassword has built-in 2FA service. And what's really cool is like when you first save a login for a website, so say like Facebook, it has like a little notification banner that says like, oh, this website supports 2FA or MFA. So that's pretty nice to see like what's supported and what's not. So there are a bunch of types of like 2FA and MFA. These are listed in rough order of how secure they are, going from most secure to least secure. So the most secure thing is like, or one of the most secure things is a security key. So like a physical security key that you have to plug in to your computer, and then usually have to tap it to prove like, you know, that you're alive and you're actually like wanting to log in. So Solo Key, which I like and I have one, they're open source. And then YubiKey is one that you might have also heard of. They're pretty popular. A lot of companies use them. They usually have them in a ton of different form factors, like USB-C, USB-A. They have like NFC ones. I think they might also have Bluetooth. I forget exactly. Another form of like 2FA or MFA is authenticator apps like Duo, which we have to use for UT, Google Authenticator and stuff like that. So those just like, they'll send like a temporary code to that authenticator app. And then when you log in, the website will request that code. So you just like copy it in. Google and Facebook, among other websites, do a thing where like when you log in, it'll send like a pop-up to your phone or to another device with that account logged in for you to approve it. So like you have to click a box or like pick a specific number that it's showing on the screen, so that confirms it's you. Another form is companies will email you the codes, like a numerical or a letter code, or a live link that you have to like click and it'll log you in. And then lastly, texting or calling you with the 2FA or MFA codes, which is the worst. It is gross. So a company texting or calling you with a security code is bad. It's very easy for an attacker to spoof your phone number or your SIM card. Now, like probably for us, like we're not on any watch lists or anything, so people aren't gonna probably try to do this to us. But just in general, like it's not very secure. It can easily be gotten around. If there are better alternatives, so usually a website will like let you pick between whether you want to use an authenticator app or like text you the codes or call you with the codes or stuff like that. If you can pick something better than texting or calling, please pick that. You should only use the text or call option if there's nothing else left. So it's like, it's better than not using MFA or 2FA, but it's not much better. And unfortunately, a lot of banks still only have this option, which is very sad, because like your bank is pretty important that you want to keep secure. Okay, so another big problem is people's physical security. So humans in general are the weakest link in terms of security. you can have like all the authentication you want, like 64 character long passwords, all this stuff. But if you like leave your laptop unlocked in the GDC, then someone trying to like do something bad to your laptop can just like skip over that, and they have like access to your command line and like your computer and all that stuff. So a way to solve this is enabling passwords on all your devices and have it require the password as soon as the screen is locked. So like nowadays on our phones and tablets and laptops, we have like banking information, personal addresses and contact information, health information, grades, and like all this important like sensitive data on our devices that we're carrying around. And just enabling a password on everything makes it so that it's way more difficult to access this information than if you just like left it unlocked, or you have it like where the locking mechanism on your phone is like a swipe but no password and stuff like that. And if you want to be even a little more paranoid, like me, then you can encrypt the hard drive on your laptop. So if your hard drive isn't encrypted, then if someone gets a hold of your hard drive, with or without the rest of your laptop, so they can like, depending on what computer you have, they can like just remove the hard drive from your laptop and like walk away with that, and they can read the files off of it, like without your computer password. So make sure to encrypt your hard drive. And just like a fun note, if you use Linux and you don't have an encrypted hard drive, it's pretty easy to bypass your root password and like log into your computer using Grub, which is like one of the booting programs that helps you choose like which operating system you want to boot into. I can show you that later if anyone is interested. And then just another physical security thing, lock your computer, your phone if you step away from it, even if it's only for a minute. Like honestly, for us, this is probably just like preventing your friends from like typing stupid stuff on your social media and saying like, haha, I left my laptop unlocked. But just in general, like you should do this to be secure. If someone were actually trying to mess with your computer and like actually harm you, leaving your computer open even for a few minutes is enough to give them like a way in, and they can do like a lot of damage in that short amount of time. And then just another note, you should probably just take your devices with you, or like put them away in a backpack or a locker or somewhere safe when you step away. But yeah, if not, just at least make sure to lock them. Another problem is oversharing. So the rise of social media has led to a lot of oversharing and a lot of information being posted online that can be used against you. So people use this information to like guess passwords, or worse, they can use it to answer security questions, which allows them to completely reset your password, and now they have like complete control of your account.
Hey, Alex, what's your mom's maiden name?
That's a good question. I'll tell you later. I'll tell it to you in exchange for your social security number if you want. So yeah, be very careful with the information you post online. Stuff like your parents' names, like Ethan was just joking, like their maiden names, your old high school, pets' names, teachers' names, all this stuff. Those are like very common security questions or answers to security questions. But they're also stuff that people post like all over Facebook. Like they'll just post all this random stuff. Like if you go to their profile, they'll have like their relatives listed and what high school they went to and all this stuff. So it's like super easy to find if someone wanted to. And most of the time it's not restricted to like just their friends or something. It's like open for everyone to see. So if you want to be, first of all, just like don't post that stuff publicly. But if you want to be like super duper secure, treat security questions like passwords. So don't use like the real answer to the question. You should be like making up answers specifically to use on your security questions. So like basically a fake persona to answer all these questions, or even you can make like different answers per website. That's a little bit more effort. But anyways, if you have all these like answers that aren't the actual answers to like your parents' name or your old high school, then people like won't be able to guess them just by going to your Facebook page and like looking at your profile. So just stuff not to post. Don't post information about where you're going to be traveling, like if you're going on vacation. And this is like before you go travel, because then you're basically saying, hey, I'm not going to be at home and my home will be empty. And, you know, if you don't have an alarm system, it'll basically be unguarded during that time. So, you know, it's not like people are out like stealing from homes all the time, but like if there was like someone who is very angry with you, like for example, like an ex significant other who might want to get back at you, like they would know that your house is empty, or someone else would just know that your house is empty and like able to access it during that time. So just like wait until you come back from the vacation and then post about it. It's not as sketchy. Don't post like photos of boarding passes, house keys, or any keys really, credit cards or any other personally identifiable information. So like in the case of boarding passes, those barcodes embed a lot of interesting data, like including like your passport number and a bunch of other like sensitive information. You might have seen this recently in the news that this guy named Mango PDF, his real name's Alex Hope, he basically was able to find the previous Prime Minister of Australia's passport number because he posted a photo of his boarding pass and he was able to like read the barcode. No, actually, he didn't even read the barcode, I don't think. He like went to Qantas's, which is the airline's website, plugged in the last name and like the boarding confirmation number, and then he got like all of this information that was just like out in the open. And then in terms of house keys, if it's like a decent enough photo, you can recreate a key from just like a picture of it. So always be careful with like what you're posting pictures of, like make sure that there's nothing that could, you know, be used against you in these pictures. And then just credit cards, like just make sure that's not like in frame and stuff. I don't think people usually like take pictures of their credit card to share with people, but you know, just be careful with all that. Some miscellaneous advice. Check your like Google, Facebook, Netflix, Spotify, Hulu, all of your like main social media accounts and like your like content and media accounts for current logins. There's usually a page in your settings that says like list all of the current logins, and it'll tell you like what device is logged in and like what city and maybe like the IP address and what type of device it is. So those are very interesting to go through because I've had a few times where I'll go and like look at the logins and there are ones that I don't remember logging in that city or that state or that country. So like make sure to check that periodically and like delete or like remove any logins that you didn't do yourself or that you don't recognize. Again, check all of the emails you've ever used, or at least like that you can remember, on Have I Been Pwned. So Have I Been Pwned will basically just tell you, based on that email, what like different websites that had data leaks or password dumps your email was found in. And so you can take that list of websites, and then if you still remember the login for them, go and like change those passwords just to make sure that like everything's still secure and hasn't been compromised. And then this is just like general security, but split up all of your login information. So you should try to use a different service or like app for password management than you do for 2FA or MFA. So for example, like you could use like LastPass for managing your passwords, and then Google Authenticator for doing your 2FA or MFA. And just in general, just like splitting up where things are, make it so that like an attacker doesn't just have to compromise like one thing or like one website. They have to, if they wanted to get all of your stuff, they would have to go to all these different apps or all these different services to compromise. Another thing kind of related to that is that when you can, only save your passwords in your password manager. So don't include like, usually your username is your email, and hopefully you don't have that many emails that you can't remember like which one you signed up with. So, you know, when you can, when you like know what the email should be, like if you only use your UTexas email to sign up for like school related things, if it's a school related website, like you should know that your email you used was your like UTexas email. So basically if you just save the passwords, then again, that's one more thing that's like missing that an attacker would have to go find out, like, oh, they only have the password, so they would have to go find out the username or the email that's associated with that. Yeah, that's pretty much all of it. If you want to know anything else about security, personal security or otherwise, you can ask in the Discord or send us an email. And then, yeah, basically we'll just go into Q&A for now. Let me stop the recording.